Hi everyone, and welcome to the Cancer Weekly Illumination reading. This is I Am Illuminated Tarot and Meaning-Based Spiritual Coaching Services. I am Lauren. Hi, and welcome. So all of my readings are here to engage you with the Triad of Engagement, which is working with the three core principles of curiosity, courage, and contemplation, and demonstrating how when we use these principles together, they can bring awareness to and unlock your unique internal authentic self and help you engage that with your external environment to better feel and understand and see and experience your spiritual purpose. All right, everyone. So we're going to get right into your reading. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull a card here for each one of the core principles, and we are going to basically, I'm going to intuitively look at the energies of each card. So we're going to start with the principle of curiosity. Now, curiosity is where we get a chance to open ourselves up. We want to bring ourselves back to that childlike sensibility where we have that sense of awe and wonder towards life, because when you think about being a child, you don't know much about the world. You don't know much about yourself. You don't know much about your external environment. And so you're ready to assume the best instead of expect the worst, as we tend to adopt as we move from childhood into adulthood. Because as we start to experience things and we maybe get an initial negative result, we start to try to avoid doing those things again. And we can oftentimes then become jaded in our adult years, where we simply stop being curious. We instead live from a place of guarded fear towards the unknown, or a place of not really wanting to continue the internal journey and development of our soul. And what does that mean? That means that we are a little stagnant. We've decided that we don't want to bring out certain parts of ourselves. We decided that at a certain point we know everything about ourselves. And instead, what we would need to do is continue to stay that curious, optimistic child about ourselves, but we tend to kind of clamp that down because we've become hurt, because parts of ourselves that we brought out and we made vulnerable were not well received, or we were told that, that's not part of ourselves that we should share. And what ends up happening is that we end up hiding the best parts of ourselves. And that's how we can become disengaged with life. We, as our unique being, become disengaged. You may still be going through the motions of living your life, but your authentic, spiritual, unique, singular soul is not engaging with life. And that's where we can really feel like we're off our path, even though technically we're never off our path. We're always on our own individual path, but we can feel like we don't see the way ahead. We feel like we don't connect to spiritual purpose. And when we tap back into curiosity and we remember what it's like to be pleasantly surprised and to understand that the universe is constantly throwing things in our way to be able to allow us to overcome challenges that will unlock these parts of ourselves, that is where the real power in curiosity comes from. What do you not know about yourself this week that is meant to have you bring awareness to it? Because right now in this moment, it's meant to connect with your spiritual purpose in the external environment. So we have beautiful card, nature. Now what's interesting, Cancer, is when I was stepping into your energy, I saw the color yellow very brightly but significantly, and I didn't really correlate it to the sun. I didn't really correlate it to anything specific. It was just this bright yellow color, and I felt your solar plexus chakra. So there's an element here with that coming through for me, just as I was stepping into your energy, that I feel like you guys are really coming into that space of understanding yourself, of understanding what makes you, you, and the beauty of that. Now, the solar plexus chakra can kind of be an interesting chakra, where our root chakra really is about grounding ourselves in who we are and understanding our capabilities. But the solar plexus chakra is kind of the seat of ourself. It's the seat of our ego. And it can, if it's imbalanced, we can be a little too egocentric, too much in our I, and not enough in understanding how the I connects with the we. But I feel for you, Cancer, this is that place of not an overdeveloped ego. It's coming back to the sense of actually, when you think of the solar plexus chakra and you think of it shining in this color yellow, it is almost like the sun radiating from you. And there's this element that I'm picking up on, that it's a healthy re-engagement with the core of who you are, but at the same time being able to radiate it and share it with others. So that's really what's coming through, and it's really interesting that the card that came up is a bright yellow color as well. Sorry guys, I had to attend to my daughter who was just waking up from her nap. But to step back into your energy, so we have nature. Now what we're going to do here is we're going to build a question around the energies of this card for you to take what is going to be a very general reading here and individualize it for yourself. So this is a question that you're going to be meant to ask yourself throughout the week to bring awareness to some aspect of your unique internal self. And this is going to be a question that only you can answer for yourself. So that's how we're making this an individualized message. Okay, so nature. It says, this is the time to absorb the healing properties that nature has to offer. Your mind, body, and soul need nourishment, energy, revitalization, and strength. Nature has much to offer, so take this time to connect and spend some quality time outdoors. I'm just going to show you this picture again. Beautiful picture. So what's standing out to me really in this image is what I think are flowers down here, but what to me looks almost like a sunburst, as well as the butterfly here. Now, when it's interesting, because again, I'm just intuitively getting messages. So yes, this week could be something about you going out into nature and spending time outdoors, because who doesn't? Well, I'm a Taurus, so I'm an earth sign. I love being outdoors. But most of us do enjoy a beautiful day outside or connecting with nature in some capacity. But what's really coming through here is the realization that you are a part of nature, that you're a part of everything, and that you being able to radiate your solar plexus chakra, to radiate yourself from this place of almost being your little, so this is interesting, it's almost like you're being your little sun in your own universe. I'm always amazed when I fly in a plane and I'm over, let's say, a crowded city, and you can look down and you see all of the things going on, and you think about how many people live down there, and how, I mean, they look like little ants, right? And that we're all doing these little things, and yet each one of us holds the entire universe within us as potential, as well as we are the center of our own universe. Each one of us has, each one of the 8 billion people that are on the planet today see life from the place of the sun within their solar system, if that makes sense. They are the center of their own unique universe. And that's also why and how I see each one of us as a singularity. We experience life individually for ourselves. No one can live your life for you. And vice versa. You cannot live someone else's life. And so there's this element, this quality coming through here of you are the sun in your life. You have the ability to shine brightly, and with doing so, radiate the heat and the warmth that is needed to grow and expand and benefit your solar system and everything within it. So this week, Cancer, I would really ask yourself and keep again in a place of conscious awareness What are you radiating out into your environment? What do you bring to every situation? Who are you at your core? What is your shining light? When you walk into a room or you go to take on a task, what makes you feel like you are literally glowing, like you can fill the room or beam a light onto an interpersonal connection? What allows you to feel like that? And this can look like you realize you have a very nurturing personality, and that maybe people come to talk with you, or you have friends and family who reach out to you in times of need or just to bounce ideas off of you, and you have the ability to bring your maybe expertise, your wherewithal, but also your very welcoming self to these conversations, which is why people reach out to you. And so you start to really pick up on the fact that, wow, I really engage with people in this way to where they are benefiting, that my light is allowing them to experience growth or experience some level of beneficial interaction when I am able to come from this place of being able to accept who they are and provide unbiased or unjudgmental advice, or just to be that listening ear. Or maybe this is something where you realize that you are the breadwinner in your environment. You're the person, you're the go-getter. You're the one that goes out there and gets stuff done. You provide for your family and you take great pride in that, but not in a way where when we think about becoming egocentric to the point where we can become narcissistic. Not to the point where if suddenly the job that you have was gone, that you would sit there and not know who you are. Instead, it's that feeling of taking personal pride in your ability to provide for your family, to come home and see everybody safe and secure with a roof over their heads, and the love of that. And that if for some reason you had to change a job or do something else, that you're not defined by the work that you do, but you are instead living from a place of loving your own ability to create this beautiful stability for others, for the people that you care about. So there's this really, Cancer, you guys are a sign of deep intuition and deep feeling. And I feel this week specifically that you're going to be tapping into some aspect of awareness, an ability, a gift that is associated with that superpower that you already have, but which is a general superpower. But you're going to discover some aspect of yourself that is unique. And it's something that you're going to be able to capitalize on. Because when you think about being the sun in your own universe, there's this quality to that you get to use that in whatever way you want. You get to grow what you want in your solar system. You can shine the light brighter or dim it, just like our own sun has that capacity. And we can't tell the sun what to do. We can't tell the sun to shine brighter or come out from behind the clouds. The sun is just always there beaming. It's always there emanating. It's always there providing life and support to our existence. And it's about realizing that is you at all times. There is that core part of yourself that you're going to uncover this week that is always there. It's always shining. It's always glowing. It's always nurturing your environment. But sometimes we can forget that. We can forget to bring awareness to that, because when we bring awareness to unique gifts and we engage them with our experience, that's really when we can see our path again. We get a chance to say, oh, this is how I can utilize this core strength. It's not just that I feel intensely. It's that I can take my superpower of harnessing emotions and I can direct it in this way. I can become a counselor. I can be a better listening ear to friends and prioritize that over doing something else. I can be the strong provider in my home life. I can, and you ... I can be the one who works with children and protects their innocent quality. There's all kinds of things that we can tap into that come from our basic superpower. So our natural gifts, when we're thinking about astrological signs and signs that are within our birth chart, those are our natural superpowers. But each one of us then has an additional take on that superpower, an additional very specific field to focus it into. And I think this week, Cancer, is going to be a little bit more of your ability to see, where can I start to focus? Where can I start to almost take this, again, kind of effusive, burning light within me, and where can I kind of, almost like a solar flare or like a laser, where can I start to really shine it out and hone in on something that I can then really grow? It would almost be like, imagine yourself being the sun and seeing the tiniest plant on one of the planets in your solar system, and it's right there and you want to grow it. Well, you can focus on it, and you can literally just focus your light and focus making sure that that one little plant gets all the light it needs, and you can physically watch it grow. And that's a great point to meditate on this week if you want something to visualize on. What is that one little plant in your solar system that you would like to focus your beautiful, warm, effusive, glowing energy on? Really getting this positive vibe, Cancer. I love this. Okay, so now we're going to pull a card for the principle of courage. And courage is where we get a chance to have the courage to take conscious action and make conscious decisions. And what does that mean? That means that instead of just going through our day-to-day life where we just kind of autonomously, or not autonomously, where we automatically just do the same things that we do every day. So this is where we grab that cup of coffee as we're running out the door, and we grab that, somebody brought in donuts at work, and you grab the donut and have a bite of it, and you go through lunch period, and all of a sudden it's 3:00 and you're just counting down the minutes until it's 5:00 and you can leave, and then you get stuck in traffic and you get home and you can't remember what you listened to on the radio on the way home. You can't remember what you had for lunch. You can't remember you taking the bite of the donut. You don't realize how much you just kind of randomly did things instead of each moment engaging yourself with those decisions. Did I need to have a bite of that donut, or should I have woken up 10 minutes earlier and made myself a healthy breakfast? When I was emailing with clients or with coworkers, did I stop to engage myself with that? Did I really make sure that I put in the effort to, instead of just typing something out and sending it, did I make the effort to say thank you where I needed to say please, to compliment somebody's ability to get a job done well? And these are all these little things that we can continue to bring ourselves into with each tiny action that we take. And that's how we start to really engage with life. And that's also where we get a chance to start to engage with our spiritual purpose. Because the more that we are engaged and the more that we're bringing ourselves out and into life, living ourselves into life, the more we start to create our life, the more we start to bring color, and we start to see clearly, this is where I belong. This is why I prioritize these certain things. This is why when I'm presented with this type of decision, I choose this over this. And it keeps you engaged so that you don't have a week that goes by and you don't remember what you did in it. Or like myself, which is why I've actually started this channel and started my coaching practice, was that I woke up after almost a decade of working in a very intense industry and living in a very dysfunctional household with my significant other at the time, and really not realizing what I had done in almost 10 years, because I had just been running on adrenaline at work, but I had just been kind of going through the motions because I was not engaging who I was uniquely with my environment. And instead of wanting to deal with the pain of that and deal with the realization of the reality that I was living in, I just wanted to hide from that. So I just kind of kept going through the motions, thinking, well, things will change when and if, and always living in the future instead of living in the present. And I don't want anybody to have to go through that. Now, it's a very illuminating experience because once you become aware of what you've lost or your inability to engage authentically, then it really does take you on that journey of self-discovery. But there are ways that we can prevent ourselves from having to lose 10 years of our lives to where we can go ahead and engage ourselves every day to courageously take conscious action. And yes, I talk about courage because it takes courage to take conscious action, because oftentimes that's making the harder decision, or it's more difficult because you actually have to concentrate and bring out parts of yourself into your everyday life. It's not just as simple as going through the motions. And it's also where we have to learn to take personal responsibility, where we realize, wow, how I perceive my life and what I get out of it is within my control. It's not external to me, it's internal. All right, Cancer. So let's see what card comes out here for you guys. What does Cancer need to know for this week about where they need to be courageous? Okay, so we have 2 cards that came out. Interesting, because this card came out for, I believe it was, I think it was Aquarius, actually. But we have Angel of Balance, number 48, breaking down to a 12, breaking down to the number 3, which to me is the number of divinity. And then we have Woman Holding a Coin. This is number 42, breaking down to a 6. I love this. So really, when we're thinking about the question that you were going to be asking yourself, Cancer, what part of myself at my core, as the sun as the center of my own universe, of my own solar system, what part of myself do I want to shine the brightest? What part of myself is really feeding my experience, really feeding and growing my whole reality around me? Well, when we think about Woman Holding a Coin, this card to me represents it represents your ability to capitalize on what you have in the tangible world, if you notice that. So the coin specifically represents the pentacle in the tarot. Pentacles are what represent the physical world in the tarot. And so there's this quality here of it's you holding the Ace of Coins. And the Ace of Coins is a gift. It's a gift between you and the divine of a seed, which is interesting when I was thinking about, looking at a small plant and wanting to direct your energy towards growing it. There's this quality here that's coming through very strongly of you hold that seed that will manifest into something incredible. And what's really interesting too is that this depiction here includes this black cat, and this is a very similar depiction to the Queen of Wands in the tarot, where she has the black cat, because there's this element that comes through that of almost magic, that she is able to harness her passion to create whatever she wants, and it is almost like magic that others would experience it like that. And so there's this quality here of almost the Queen of Pentacles mixed with the Queen of Wands in this one card. So it's showing that you are meant to take your light, your passion, and use that, like the Queen of Wands, to grow the seed, but with a determined focus in the way that the Queen of Pentacles would have. So the Queen of Pentacles is, the card itself represents the energies of knowing where to focus your energy, knowing what is important in your life to grow. She's not going to do something that doesn't somehow help what the pentacle that she's holding. And so for you, when I see the Angel of Balance coming through with this, and that number of divinity coming through, there's this, I just intuitively am getting that it's time to balance your life, to balance the two sides of yourself, to balance the Queen of Wands with the Queen of Pentacles, to balance the passionate side to where you know you can create. Again, it's almost like harnessing the energy of the sun. There's this element of being able to harness that and to use it for creation, but there's also the other side to that where you can get burned by the sun. And so it's balancing that out to know, okay, where, instead of me frying that poor little seedling where I'm just radiating too much, or me just shining out of control too much to the point where I'm burning the things in my life. Instead, I'm going to know, because I'm going to be asking myself this question: where am I? How am I meant to radiate? What part of myself is actually growing things instead of burning them? And so there's this element here coming through of knowing what your seed is, knowing what that gift from the divine truly is for you, and understanding that balance comes from a place of divinity, that the entire universe is one of balance. So for everything that is over here, there's going to be something opposite over here. There's always going to be light with darkness. There's always going to be something heavy with light. That's a better representation of that. There's going to be things that are dense and things that are airy. Not, I'm trying to, I can't even think of what you would say to not dense, light. But that's how the entire universe, divine structure, divine design is how I like to see it. But however you see it, just the kind of inner workings of the entire universe, there is this state of balance at all times, and it comes from that place of divinity. And so there is this, wanting to draw attention to having the courage to first shine your light, to understand your passion, to understand your ability as the magician in your life, as the sun in your solar system, to create your experience, to help grow your experience, but also to understand that it isn't just about shining as brightly as possible so that you burn everything. It's about shining in the way that you are meant to shine. Shining again in the way that you are aware of how you are benefiting your solar system. And then really focusing on that. Focus on growing all those little seeds. Focus on nurturing and watching and seeing and responding. So courage is really about taking action, so that we can understand ourselves better, so because we are then seeing the consequences of what happens. So this week, it's about balancing your passionate, fiery, magician quality of the Queen of Wands with the nurturing, dedicated, focused energy of the Queen of Pentacles, to grow the seed from the place that only you can help grow it from. All right, now we're going to pull a final card here for the concept or the principle of contemplation. And contemplation is where we get to engage with active reflection. And what does active reflection mean? That means that instead of just waiting until we maybe have 30 minutes of quiet time to meditate, or when we maybe once in a blue moon decide to kind of take a look back at our lives and we say, oh, we're going to take some contemplation time. This is about every day, all throughout the day, in the moment, as you are consciously taking action. You then are actively contemplating on the action you took and the immediate consequence or response that you got. And this is how then we re-engage again with the Triad of Engagement. We start back then to square one with curiosity, and we say, okay, what happened? What did happen? So I'm actively reflecting. I see that I did this. This was the response. Okay, now how does that make me feel? Or where can I continue to take action to either continue to get that beneficial response, or where can I change my actions because the response I got didn't quite work out the way that I wanted, or the reaction from that person wasn't quite what I was expecting. So now where can I bring the control and the power back to myself to be able to to have the courage to change my actions and to take another conscious action, and then to actively reflect again. So this is that place. Contemplation is what prevents us. Active contemplation is what prevents us from becoming stagnant, because we are able to continually self-educate and learn from direct experience and engagement with our external environment. So we have two cards that came out. We have Dance with Life. It says, do something to change your energy. And then we have Pillar of Light. And it says, your vibration is rising. You are the oracle. I love the pictures on these cards. So in contemplation, when we're thinking this week about, again, shining your light, what part of yourself is that light? What light are you bringing to your solar system? And again, that can be totally different from everybody else. We each are our own center of the universe. So what somebody else might radiate and bring to theirs is completely different to what you radiate and bring to yours. And this Dance with Life, what I'm drawn to here is the fact that there's the moon there. And Cancer, your sign does, the moon is your ruling planet. So there is this element here coming through of intuition, of almost celebrating that connection to spirit, celebrating that almost balance between, when I think of the moon and it comes out at night and there's this quality of the darkness, but it's also, when we see the moon, what we see of the moon from Earth is a reflection of the light from the sun that's still shining somewhere. So even when the moon comes out, it's not that the sun has stopped shining. It's that it's now been blocked. So the way the Earth is rotated, we no longer can see the sun. But we can know that the sun is still shining by looking at the moon, and that the moon is reflecting the sun's light. And that's how we get a chance to even see and know that the moon is there. So there's this quality here of recognizing that balance, recognizing that there are the two sides to you, the side of going within and connecting to your intuition and into that darkness, and then harnessing that with the ability to shine your light outward, that you still also have the sun. So you have the outward display of who you are, the egoic display of who you are, which is being the sun, being the creator of your universe. And then you have the inward connection to spirit, that intuition, which is your connection to the moon, which is coming down into darkness, but understanding that even as dark as you may go, you are always reflecting yourself. So you always have that tie. You never will go to extreme darkness and never be able to pull yourself back out. That darkness is what reflects your own light back to you. So there's this element here of contemplating perhaps on maybe some dark aspects of yourself that you've been struggling with a little bit, that's prevented you from really feeling like you can shine outward as your best and brightest self. Now, I don't always like that phrase that gets kicked around a lot, which is my best self. And we are always our best self. That's all we can be. We can always only be who we are in the moment. But there is this quality here with the moon, just intuitively, that sometimes we can lose sight that we are always burning, that there is always the Queen of Wands within us who is waiting to work with our passion, and that there's always the Queen of Pentacles who's ready and waiting to dedicate and harness that energy towards something specific that's going to be beneficial to us in our life. And that's really where we balance the dark and the light in ourselves, is that we have to go within sometimes, and we have to have those dark thoughts, or we have to battle with those dark parts of our personalities or our dark gifts, because they reflect back then the best parts of ourselves. They shine a light on where we have overcome that challenge, or what we can do to balance out that darkness, and where we can then focus and turn away from the darkness and reflect back to ourselves the best parts of ourselves, the strengths that we had to overcome, and where actually our light is meant to shine, to be able to chase away darkness, to be able to balance out the darkness. A similar message came through for Libra, actually, where there's this part of utilizing their light to balance out the darkness. And theirs was more about external, really. I mean, there was a little bit of internals, but more about showing how you can internally shine your light to balance out external darkness. Here, I feel like this is more within yourself, that it's a reminder that there is going to be light and dark within you, but they're two halves of the same coin, and that oftentimes the really looking at the dark places is what reminds you that you are still always there, that nothing can come and change who you are, the beauty of yourself, and to change the fact that you are in the position of true control within your own life. You are the creator within your solar system, within your universe. And the moon, the darkness, is your direct tie to your intuition, and therein to spirit. That is where we can go to tap back in, to say, I am going to go through the darkness with faith, because I always am connected to spirit. And spirit wants me to shine my light, but I also know that I have to face these dark parts of myself, and that's part of who I am, and that is part of my divine design. So when I look at Dance with Life, do something to change your energy, there's this really, strong intuitive message of shake it off. Dance into the darkness as much as you dance into the light, and realize that that darkness is part of your strength, and it's actually going to be what helps you shine your light even brighter. And then we have Pillar of Light. Your vibration is rising. You are the oracle. And I love that, because it's almost like when you look at this image, that person in the center, it's like they've realized finally, I am the sun. I am the sun. I have the power to create whatever I want in my experience. I have the power to grow whatever I want in my experience. And Cancer, you are a cardinal sign, which harnesses the power of leadership, which really allows you to step into taking the lead in your life. And that's what I feel is really coming through here, is to contemplate on stepping back into your place of personal power. And again, not from this place of, I'm going to step into my power and ignore the fact that I have to coexist and connect with others. It's that, no, I have the ability to control my experience. I have the ability to focus and grow the areas in my life that I would like to focus and grow, because it's going to make me feel good. I am a sun specifically designed to grow certain things, and I'm going to just lean into that. I'm going to live into that. I'm going to shine that light into my external environment. And that's what's going to help you realize your spiritual purpose, the world that you're meant to create, where you're meant to kind of laser focus that light. And your vibration is rising. It's rising because of the awareness, because of that self-awareness. So this is, when you're thinking about active contemplation this week, it's about realizing where perhaps you've been trying to push aside the darkness, and kind of leaning into that with faith and facing it fully, to see the best parts of yourself reflected in that. So being curious about the best parts of yourself, and then seeing where those are reflected in how you've handled the dark parts of yourself, or dark situations, or pain that you're still carrying, and understand where the best parts of yourself are being highlighted and being illuminated. And then realizing, okay, if I can create my reality, my perspective, my perception of my reality, then as I'm taking action from that place of passion, but also dedicated focus, knowing that I'm the center of my universe, is this growing what I want? As I take action, is this coming back with the consequence of the reaction that I want? Am I actually seeing that little plant grow? And if I want my world to be hypercolored and cool like this one, am I seeing that happen? When I take these actions, am I seeing that directly reflected in my external experience? All right, Cancer, I hope this has been illuminating for you this week. If you'd like to book a personal reading or a one-on-one coaching session, the link to my website is in the description box below. Thank you for all of your likes, subscribes, and comments. They are very important to me and I appreciate them. And I also thank you for watching this video, as just you doing that has been a huge service to me, because it allows me to continue to have this platform to be able to do what I feel emotionally connected to, and to help every day engage a little bit with what I feel is my spiritual purpose. So thank you, Cancer, for allowing me the opportunity to do that. Have a wonderful rest of the week. I look forward to your next reading.